to the practice. So we'll start the practice in a seated position to give us a chance to feel comfortable in a cross-leg position on the floor, the position that we might feel a bit of a restriction in the ankles, knees, hips, as we'd like always to keep the spine up straight. And let us interlace our fingers and let us just warm up the wrist, going slowly one direction and the other direction. Try to keep the base of your palms together and try to keep your forearms as close as possible. And change direction. You can go one at a time or go 3, 5, one direction and then go 3, 5, other direction, whatever feels right for you. And maybe going one more time both directions for other several repetitions. And then let us just shake the arms and stretch your arms, palms facing the front, and really engage your arms. Really bring all fingers together, stretch them down toward the floor, and then bring your elbows close to the rib cage, and then it's like you pressing the air up, keeping the wrist straight. Really engage your arm muscles, all the arm muscles, and just press. Feel how your elbow is jamming here, flexing, and then turn the palms toward the front. And again, keeping elbows close to the ribcage, start pressing down, really with a power. So feel your biceps is working, feel the forearms muscles are working, and go all the way down. And then again, turn the palms toward the front and press it through the air up. And compress the elbow as much as possible. Of course, without pain, right? So just finding your flexion, rotate the palms to the front, press them down all the way. And one more time. So you should feel like a whole arm is involved. So all the muscles, triceps, biceps, forearm muscles is engaged. All fingers stretched. Press it up. Compress your elbow as much as you can. Turn the palms forward. And then press it down. Keep your wrist straight. Like really feel like your biceps are working here as you're pressing down. And let's here, just relax your arms. Let's go with the shoulder circles several times. Bringing elbows forward. Okay, welcome. If you're joining us, we're only warming up, wrist, elbows, shoulders. So when you're ready, just join the warm-up. Roll your wrists, roll your shoulders. Before we go further, we're using the resistance band today, so make sure you have your resistance band handy. And then just shake your arms here. Let's bring the arms in front, keep the palms facing each other, and go for protraction and retraction of your shoulders. So remind you, you're squeezing your shoulders, that's a protracted position, and then like someone is pulling your hands forward, you hugging yourself. So squeeze the shoulder blades and then move them forward. Try not to extend in your lower back. Keep only movement of the shoulder blades. So a couple of more moves here. Control your traps, so try not to let them to be lifted here. Keep their Shoulder blades down, and let us again just shake your arms. Go into a couple of arm circles. So just relax once today. So go with one arm and maybe 3 times, just to lubricate the joint, prep it for some work, and then do it for the other arm. So it's not a very defined movement as we usually do, but just a circular movements here to warm it up. And let us now, so we sit on the block. Let me return my hips on the block. Let us just warm up ankles a little bit. So get your left shin down to the floor, hug your right thigh, lock your shin, and just go into circular movement with your ankle, one direction and the other direction. Again, we're gonna go maybe 3, 5, one direction, 3, 5, another direction. You can change it every time, or go several repetitions and then change. So whatever feels right for your body, and just notice how ankle and knee connected. We're not really involving the hip here in this position, but as you know, we're exploring this connection of 3 joints of the lower limbs very often. Okay, and then bring your hands behind and just bend your knees a couple of times. So just extend the leg and drop the heel. So in a free way, and just checking how your knee feels this morning. If it's clicking or it's okay. And we'll do the same 2 moves for the other leg. So bring your shin down to the floor, hug your left thigh, lock your shin, and go into the circular movement, one direction and the other direction. Try not to rush. Try to explore the full range. Here definitely we have some limitation in some points of the circle. And then again, we're gonna bring the hands behind and just a couple of knee bends here. So checking how their left knee feels. Okay, and then we will, this time, we'll take the block away and come into our 90-90 position, or something that feels right. And we'll just move the hips a couple of times, going from one side to another side. Keep your feet flexed and rotate here. So if you are starting on the back of your mat in 90-90, you will find that you are progressing forward here. So I'm trying to find a full range for the hips and going here. Maybe a couple of more times. If you're moving forward, see if you are reaching the front of the mat, and that's where we will probably stop here. So we went through the major joint basic movements, and let's cross the ankles, and let us come into the tabletop position, this time allowing the spine to move. So go into the cat and dog stretch when you're ready, and try not to rush. Again, explore the full range, maybe pausing if you feel like you'd like to pause in one position or another position to explore the range. Have been very focused on the pelvic pelvis movement and the head movement. So finishing the last two for the both directions. And here we'll maybe move slightly backward on the mat, making sure that we do have a block close to us. But first we'll come into the puppy pose. So it's not quite child pose when your hips are going toward the heels. Your hips are a little bit higher, and then you slide your hands forward. Ideally, your forehead will reach the floor, and you feel some stretch in the front of the shoulders. You feel a little bit of a back bend, and you decide how deep is this back bend. If your forehead is not reaching the floor, welcome to have a block under the forehead, and try to get the sense of stretch here in the front of the chest and shoulders. Ideally, you keep your elbows straight. Some might want to lift to the base of the palms. Elbows are not touching the floor. You really feel how your shoulder blades press against the spine, forcing thoracic spine to come into extension. Just check how that feels. And then let us lift to the face. And we're going to do this for each arm with a block. So maybe just take a look on the screen when I will be doing. So I'm going to bring the right hand on the block, and then I will come down. So I feel a little bit extra stretch on my right armpit. So practice that. And when you are finding the position, try to walk your fingers toward the front edge of the mat. It's like you're lifting your shoulder blades up, and then walk slightly backward to the bottom edge of the block and move your shoulder blades down. So I'm going to come to the screen if you want to see my back. The idea is to lift the shoulder blades when you walk up, and then drop the shoulder blades when you walk down. So nothing else is moving. You're just moving your palm on the block, but the movement starts from the shoulder blade, okay? So just activating the shoulder blade movement here. So on the block, just coming, walking forward, reaching to the edge. So you need to find the distance where the block should be, and then moving backward. And try not to bend your elbow when you move backward, but work from the shoulder blade. And if you were able to find this movement, let us explore that on the other side. So first, just bring the block. Bring the other hand on the block and just collapse down. When I say collapse, it's more rely to the chest, to the armpit, feeling here the stretch. So first a little bit extra stretch, and then let us experiment by sliding the palm toward the top edge of the block with a lift of the shoulder blades, and then slide your palm toward the bottom edge of the block and move the shoulder blades down. So a little bit of the movement here. Whatever is available. The shoulder blade area is the gray area in our body in terms of finding the connection to this area. So for a lot of us, it's like we don't know how to move, we don't know how to operate with the muscles there, so we're just checking if we able to feel it. And let us now come to the child pose, a relaxed child pose. So you're gonna bring the arms on the sides of the body, turning palms up toward the ceiling, relaxing the shoulders, allowing the shoulders to rest. And take a couple of exhales here. chest. I would invite you to come into seated position with the straight legs. Having the band with you, and we'll bring the band around the feet. So if you're finding that in a seated position you're really rounded in your lower back, so you feel like you sit like that, chin down, rounded back, there's two things you can do. The first, you can elevate your seat bones with a block, and that might give you this extra space to stretch your lower back. And the other thing, if your hamstrings are tight, you can just bend your knees a little bit. So I want you to be in this hinge here. You by now should really know how that feels. And then resistance shouldn't be extremely hard. You keep your elbows straight, and then I would invite you to pull your hand toward your hip and squeeze the shoulder blades, and then we're going to hold it here and then very slowly release. So pull again toward your hips, so not toward your armpits. Don't come with the shoulder into internal rotation. Don't lift your traps, but squeeze here, feeling your lats are working a little bit, feeling all the muscles around the shoulder blades engaged, and then very slowly release. Let's continue. We have 8 more. So pull, hold, and very slowly release. That's 3. Pull, hold, connect to all this area on the back of your shoulder blade, and release. Let's again pull and release. That's 5 more. Pull, hold, and release. You should feel your core is embraced here as well. Pull, hold, keep your shoulder blades sliding down, and release. You actually have to check it here, so don't start it with a rounded spine. First, set your shoulder blades down, and then pull and hold, and release. We have 3 more. And pull and hold, and release. And again, pull and hold, and release. And last one, pull and hold, and release. So let us release the band from your feet. You can cross your ankles if you want. You can keep your feet grounded here if that's more comfortable for you. We're going to take the band overhead and try to take it as far behind your head as possible. So if you need to take it wider, take it wider. It doesn't need to be extreme resistance again. And then take the band behind your shoulders and let your shoulder blades to be squeezed. Feel how you stretch the front of the chest. And then bring it over the head and rest. Keep your spine straight. Let's do it again. Lifted and slightly stretch. And as you go behind your back, you feel how shoulder blades stretch, how you feel external rotation of your shoulders. And bring it back and rest. We have 3 more. Bring it overhead. Already here, have your external rotation of the shoulders, and then let the shoulder blades to be squeezed, and then slowly bring it back and rest. Again, lift, stretch, slide the shoulder blades down, fix them, let the band squeeze them together into a protracted position, and then release. And one more time. Lift and squeeze, and then come all the way into the front. Great. So let us now cross the ankles and come into the tabletop position. And in this tabletop position, we're gonna wrap the band around the shoulder blades, right? So you feel how you're pressing space between the shoulder blades into the band. So just wrap it here, and then just hold the band with your hands. So feeling a little bit of resistance, yes. And we'll come here. So you feel a bit of a resistance, and we're gonna want to do the protraction and retraction here. So squeeze the shoulder blades like we just did, and then press that space between the shoulder blades into the band. And then again, squeeze, keeping neck long, trying to not to tense the top of the shoulders. And then press up. Again, squeeze, and then press up. And as you're pressing up, let's hold here and feel how you also need to engage your abdomen muscles here to resist, to the slight resistance from the band. And one more time, squeeze and then press. And keep it here in this position. Let's tag the toes. So continue to work from the shoulder blades, from the upper back, to resist to the gravity. Tuck your toes and now lift your knees off the floor. Continue to be focused on the strength of your shoulders, holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop the knees. Let us just have a quick stretch for the wrist. So you can hold the band with one hand and stretch the other wrist here, and then hold that and stretch the other one. We have one more position to play with in a band wrapped over the upper back. So come into tabletop position. So make sure you're not squeezing the shoulder blades, but you're pressing it up. Neck neutral. Feel it all into the muscles on the side of the shoulder blades and not your traps. Engage your abdomen here, and then extend one leg and extend the other leg. Tug the tailbone. Engage the glutes. Continue to press the floor. Think of working against resistance from the chest up into the band. Keep breathing, and that's 3, 2, and 1. Drop the knees down to the floor. Let's take the band away. This time we'll just place it in front of the mat so we can pick it up in our flows. Shake your arms, and when you're ready, come into the downward dog. So start your downward dog by setting the palms on the mat, spreading the fingers, have an index finger straight forward, tuck your toes, bend your knees, and take all the knowledge that you just received in controlling your shoulder blades, in stabilizing your shoulders here to the downward dog. So get your head between the arms. Keep your knees as bent as you need. Make sure neck is relaxed, and just stabilize your shoulder blades here. Stabilize your shoulders. Feel that you're not collapsing to your wrist, but using the arm strength to push the body weight up and back. And with that, you're able to feel this nice traction of your spine. And then on next inhale, look forward and walk to the front of the mat. Set your feet hip distance. Let's hand here, relaxing your arms, shaking from side to side. And then let's very slowly come up into standing position. Exhale. So let us from here go through the couple of flows just to warm up the full body. We definitely feel a lot of awareness of the upper back. Use it in the flow. With inhale, lift your arms up. So check that you're not having too much tension. You definitely feel that the scapula is lifted, but you're just in control here. Bring the palms together, exhale, fold forward, all the way down, release the head, relax arms. Step your left foot back, drop the knees down to the floor. Allow yourself to get a little bit extra stretch for the hips, for the hip flexors, for the quad, and then bring your hands to your right thigh. Pressing the hips forward as much as it feels comfortable. Let's take the arms up, spread the fingers, press the palms back so feel some stretch on the front of the chest. Take inhale, and on exhale, bring the hands down to the floor. Tuck the toes and transfer yourself into the downward dog. So take your time again to pay attention to stable, strong shoulders. Taking the weight from the wrist backward toward your heels. So like think of a waterfall that goes from the tailbone toward the heel, stretching your hamstrings. Then stepping the right foot maybe a bit closer. Actually, let's drop the knees down to the floor and step the left foot. Let's go transition. Let's do transition this way. Press the hips forward, bring the hands to the thighs. Keep stretching the right quad. And then when you're stable, ready, you can take the arms up and feel a bit of a stretch. Here, a little bit of a back bend. This back bend also involving your shoulders and external rotation. And then bring the hands to the floor, tuck the right toes, and step with the left foot back. Enter the downward dog. And again, long spine. Work here with the strong shoulders. Nice traction of the spine. And then when you're ready, you look forward and walk to the front of the mat. Set your feet hip distance. Hang here for the breath. Adding some stretch on the back of your legs. And then let's slowly roll up into standing position. Exhale, taking the breath here, and let's flow again. Inhale, lift the arms up. Bring the palms together. Exhale, fold. Step your left foot back. You don't need to go to the very wide lunge, as we're going to be here for some time. So just something that you can feel you are stable, you strong legs. Lift your torso up, and this time we'll take the band with us. And as we're holding here, let us bring the elbows close to the rib cage, keeping the palms open. Then just find some resistance and let's stretch it out. Keeping elbows close to the rib cage. And then release. So try to keep your palms up toward the ceiling and then stretch again. You should feel work in the rotator cuff and release. You decide how much tension you have. Again, stretch number 3. Control your front knee. You're not allowing your front knee to collapse forward. Get it here. So working on the inner thigh. And 4. And release. And 5. And release. And here we will bring the band down to the floor and step into downward dog. Exhale. On next exhale, let's drop the knees down to the floor into tabletop position. Let us revive this movement. Let us revive this table, shoulders, neck parallel to the floor. And then we're going to extend one leg at a time into plank, tucking the tailbone under, using strong glutes to help us to stabilize the pelvis, holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let's press the hips back and up. Again, you're welcome to keep your knees as bent as you need. Bring the head between the arms, lengthening through the side, taking exhale, and then stepping the right foot closer to the midline, stepping the left foot forward into lunge. Again, adjust the lunge to be comfortable, because we will do the same thing. We're gonna come up with the torso, having palms parallel to the ceiling, elbows tucked to the rib cage, and here we'll stretch and come back and stretch and down to the floor and step into the downward dog. Take your time to find your downward dog. Long spine, check your head, check where the shoulder blades are, check if you find your triceps are helping you to assist here. And then let's drop the knees down to the floor. Let's reset the hands, really strong upper back, engaging the abdomen, and then extend one leg at a time, tucking the tailbone under, using the glutes, pressing the floor, holding 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, coming into the downward dog. Exhale, long spine. And then when you're ready, look forward and walk to the front of the mat. Set your feet hip distance. Relax your arms, shake your arms if you need. And then pick up the band and slowly, with the band, lift your torso up. Exhale, taking the breath. Okay, let us step the feet into triangle distance. So here, and let us have the right foot out and left foot in, and allowing the left hip to turn inward a little bit. And then we'll take the band behind the back. You don't need to have much resistance, just a little bit to keep your arms straight. And then pushing the hips to the left, you are just folding to the right, stretching the band with both arms, and think of your left shoulder. So your left shoulder shouldn't fall forward. Press the left shoulder back into the band. Maybe you need to be higher. Bring the right hand to the thigh. Continue to stretch your left arm up and work with the left shoulder to go backward. So first of all, we want to have strong legs. We're working here core, and slightly different work for the arms in triangle here, and emphasize in this external rotation of the left shoulder. And let's come up, release the arms. Let's turn the right foot in, left foot out, rotate the right hip forward. Bring the band behind the shoulders. Move the hips to the right. Drop the left hand down and work to play here on your ability to feel that your chest is parallel to this band that you're holding behind you. Work and pay attention to the right shoulder here. So the right shoulder not falling inward. We're trying to work with the external rotation. And because band is stretchy, it might help you to focus a little bit more. And exhale, release the arms. This time we come into warrior two legs. So maybe a little bit wider stance, bending the right knee. And we'll take the band again behind the shoulders. So you join the midline on the center of your torso, and then stretching the arms equally to the both directions. And then bring your gaze to the right hand. But because your hands are tight, right, you now feel how you can find the center here, how you can find the balance. Keep your front knee 90 degrees. Don't allow your knee to pass your shin. So step a little bit wider then. You want to have a 90-degree here. Feel the core work in your warrior two here. And now here, I want you to drop the band. But work the same way. Yeah, so you shouldn't move your arms. You're just dropping them from the hands, right? Feel the same work in the core, legs, and arms. Release. Let us find the band from the floor. Turn the right foot in, left foot out. Find your warrior two legs. And then we're going to bring the band behind the back again. Stretching the arms to the both direction. Bending the front knee, using back leg, engage in the core. So find a little bit of the strength that you need to use to resist the stretchy feeling from the band. And when you are able to find your balance, let us just drop the band, but work the same way in your arms and in your core. Hold here. Release the arms and turn the left foot in and go toes, heels. Shake your arms. We'll pick up the band if it's on the floor. And so watch carefully. I am placing the band on the floor and I'm stepping with my right foot. So the band goes outside of the right foot. And I'm opening my palm to the ceiling and placing the band on the top. And then here I'm pressing it up. Okay, so you feel like you are working on the right side of the body, and immediately start bringing the body weight to the right foot, having just the left big toe touching the floor. Continue to focus to stabilize your right glute and stabilize the hip, right hip here. Engage your oblique, engage your shoulder. It doesn't need to be like, you shouldn't feel like the band is jamming you. You feel a little bit of resistance. And when you're ready, bring more body weight to the right leg and lift your left foot. Hold it here. Feel the work on the right glute. 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the left foot down to the floor and release the right arm. So let's work on the other side. Bring the band on the floor. Step with the left foot. So the band is wrapping the foot on the left. Open your palm. Bring the band on the top of your palm and then stretch it up. So having the right big toe touching the floor to start with, you focusing on stabilizing your left hip, pressing the right hand up, soft knee if you need, bringing the body weight to the right foot, lifting that right foot off the floor, having the right hand on the hip, holding 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the right foot down and release. Let's go a little bit further. So a little bit more challenge for the core strength and the hip stability. Same setting, so you step in the right foot on the band and stretching it up. So again, not too tight. Just feel like if you're gonna release your arm, it's like kind of a snap here. Bring the body weight to the right foot, lift your left foot, and this time see if you can go a little bit further. It's like you're allowing the band to take your right hand down, but you're still pressing it, and you're resisting from oblique. You're very stable in the right hip, and you're just lifting the left leg higher. So progress here as low as it feels stable, holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come back and release. Going to the other side. You should feel a lot of work, a lot of the burning on the right side. So this time we're going to step the left foot on the band, bringing the band around the left palm, stretching it up, engaging the left glute, soft left knee, don't lock the left knee, lift your right foot, and here just allow the band to take your arm down and lift the leg as high as you can, holding 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and come all the way up and release. And shake your legs, catch your breath, and let us come to the front of the mat. Let's have one more flow. We will actually use the band, so place the band around in front of your mat. Take a moment to scan the size of the body. After the previous exercise, you should really feel this framing on the sides, and let's, with inhale, lift the arms up, stretch. Bring the palms together. Exhale, fold all the way down. Step your left foot back into the lunge. Pick up the band and come all the way up. Take your arms over the head. And here, think of locking your left arm close to your head. And here we're going to stretch the right arm down and release. Use the core to balance here. Stretch and release. Stretch, so don't allow yourself to collapse to the right. And release one more time. Stretch and release, and one more. The fifth one, stretch, hold. Feel how you're resisting from the core and release. Bring the band down to the floor and step into the downward dog. Exhale. On this next exhale, flow into plank right away. Push the floor. Use the alignment of the upper back. We talked the whole first part of the practice today. And then exhale, come into the downward dog. Setting the right foot closer to the midline. Stepping the left foot forward into lunge. Picking up the band, lift the torso up. Take a time to ground yourself. Take your arms over the head, and this time lock your right arm close to your chest, and let us pull the band with the left hand and release. One. Pull, keep the balance, and release. Make sure your shoulder is not lifted, and pull, and release, and 4, and release, and 5, and release. Bring the band down to the floor and step into the downward dog. Exhale, very long spine. Taking the breath, and let's drop the knees down to the floor and just have quick release of your shoulders and arms. Relax, catch your breath, exhale. And then lift your face off the floor. Take your band. We're going to use it as the strap for the closing section of the practice. So take yourself into the supine position. Bend your knees. Set your neutral spine position. And here I will lift the right foot and bring the band around the right foot. Let it just hang free. And then take your straight arms, and where you reach, that's where you're catching. So you start with your straight wrist, straight elbow. And then you're going to just slightly bend your elbow into diamond shape, grounding. Remember how we were pulling, right? Pulling the hands toward the hips in a seated position. So it's very similar, but we're just letting the elbows set free, shoulder blades down. So make sure you're not trying to bring your leg toward your face with the top of your shoulders. Be grounded through the right hip and think of pressing the right heel up toward the ceiling. Keep your knees straight. So instead of thinking of a stretch by taking the toe toward the face, think more on taking the heel up, working against this light resistance, and just send your breath to the back of your legs, stretching the hamstrings. Shoulders are relaxed, elbows are going toward the floor. If you have a light band, you feel like your elbows might even touch the floor here, but shoulder blades grounded. Keep pressing the heel up toward the ceiling. And then release the resistance, so your arms becoming straight again, and bring the strap to the right hand only. But still keep your wrist and elbows straight to start with. Then extend your left leg, bring the left hand to your left hip, and then here you might bend your elbow, open the right leg to the right, keeping the foot flexed, grounding the left shoulder, maybe even turning the gaze to the left, and feel some inner thigh stretch here. You're using your right elbow to support the weight of the leg here, and you're feeling that it's pretty bouncy here, so you can stretch it a little bit higher, a little bit lower, go a little bit low, a little bit high, because it's a resistance band. It's a give you a little bit of more dynamic stretch in the inner thigh into the extension of the hip. Let's bring the leg back up, and this time we'll take the band with a straight left arm. So again, start with a straight wrist, straight elbow. Bring the right arm on the floor as anchor. Now you start bending the left elbow and taking the leg across. You're allowing the right hip to roll off the floor, but you keep your right shoulder blade on the floor. You can turn the gaze to the right if you like, and feel some nice stretch on the back of the right hip, glute, right hamstring, IT band. Try to keep your knees straight. So again, because we have a resistance band today for support, you might also have a bit of a dynamic work here. Again, letting the leg just to bounce here a bit, pull it a little bit higher, release, up and down. So a little bit of the movement of the thigh bone into hip socket. And let's bring the right leg up, and here we will release the band. We'll bend both knees, we will reset the hips back on the midline, and we'll do the same sequence with the left leg. So we're starting with the right knee bent, left leg straight. So bent right knee helping us to maintain a neutral spine. So having the knee straight. So if your knee straight is here, you keep the leg like that. Take your straight arms, reach where you can reach. Bend your elbows. So remember how we did some pull for the lats, and press the left heel up toward the ceiling, keeping the knees straight and keeping shoulders relaxed, neck neutral here, and continue to work with the strength of your leg muscles up rather than pulling the toe and feeling intensity on the shoulders. Having here 5 more breaths. Really flexed foot. You feel some heel tendon stretch this way as well. And then let's bring the band into the left hand, straight elbow and wrist. Extend your right leg, ground your right hip, and open the left leg out, feeling the inner thigh stretch, being grounded through the right shoulder, maybe turning the head to the right if it feels right for you.
little bit maybe movements to add if it feels right. And then take the leg up, release the left hand, hold straight right wrist, straight right elbow, bring the left arm to the floor, take the leg across and feel some stretch behind. Feel like you're pressing the heel into the band. That's going to increase the sensations of stretch. And let's return the leg up, release the band, reset your hips again, and we might use the band if you like. We will bring the feet together, we'll wrap the band around the feet just to hold the feet, and you might bring your elbows inside the knees, or if it's not working, just try to open the knees wide. And feel here the Baddha Konasana. So instead of holding the toes or feet and maybe tensing the shoulders, keep your shoulders relaxed, shoulder blades grounded. And then from here, we will just separate the hands on the band, and we'll separate the feet into happy baby, bending the knees, shins are perpendicular to the floor. And again, instead of putting a lot of effort to hold the feet, we will just relax, very similar lat pulling work here, keeping a whole back grounded, and pay attention to your tailbone. You're trying to keep your tailbone grounded on the floor. You might rock slightly, massaging the lower back here. And then let us bring the legs together up. Take the band away to the side. Bring the knees to your chest. Rock, and then just shake your arms, and then shake your legs. And then drop the heels down to the floor. Take your arms wide. Reset your shoulder blades. And let us practice Shavasana. Exhaling all the effort that are needed to follow instructions, to follow cues, to bring them to your body, into alignments of your body. Relax your abdomen area. We needed a lot of core stability today. And just make sure that your shoulder blades grounded, rooted to the mat, while your arms just extend to the sides of the body. Gentle moves will return through fingers, toes, wrist and ankles. Very similar circles that we started the practice today. Bending elbows a couple of times, bending knees a couple of times. rock from side to side till you're ready to roll on one side and come into seated position. It could be cross-leg position, but it could be straight legs as well. And bring your hands to the knees to help you just to lengthen through the spine, and then bring your hands in front of the chest. Taking a moment to admit the end of the practice. Thank yourself for being able to step on the mat and follow the mindful movements to build some strength in an area of the body that very often prone to injuries or just losing mobility. The area that designed to be very mobile, helping us to do the things. We are reaching with the arms up and to the sides, and unfortunately those joints becoming less mobile through their life. I hope this practice helps you to restore some of the strength and mobility of your upper body. Namaste.